Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're focusing on the interior of the car. I've got a lot of the hard, challenging stuff done. I've got the firewall, roll cage painted, all the undercoating stuff done. And now I need to work on mounting all my accessories inside. So that's where Senka Send comes in again. I've got this old mount that I previously had done for ECU and PMU on the passenger footwell. And now I'm moving on to this design that mounts to the back side of the firewall into the trans tunnel. And here's why. That old mount was mounted down in the passenger footwell, and I later found out that my wiring specialties harness was a bit too short. And while this kind of sucked, at the same time it's for the better, because otherwise I would have had to run it on this side, and all this stuff is hot. I've got no room down in here. It just wouldn't have been as ideal. So run on the cold side, not extending the harness for sure. And I will just mount everything to the trans tunnel back to the firewall instead. So this design not only allows me to put the PMU and ECU on these two plates, but it also allows me to put on the CAN hub and my USB to CAN. I think I'll do a 3D printed piece right here. And then in addition to that, I have ECUmaster's GPS, and this mounts to a really cool location from the factory. This is a HVAC stud that's just perfect for it. So it needs to be, it's kind of a weird bracket because it needs to be in this orientation according to ECUmaster. So I've got a little pass-through grommet for the wiring harness. I've got it on some anti-vibration bushings, and right here is the antenna spot. So that'll come out and up on top of the dash or something. So really a good setup. So now we've got all of our accessories taken care of. They have their own locations. I'm going to go ahead and tack this guy up and then put a nice beefy tack on it so I can bend it by hand in the car and get it at that perfect angle that's needed. Finish weld it out, and then just keep working my way down to the trans tunnel, where this one I don't have the through holes the correct size, where the PEM nut like I ideally would. And the reason I'm doing that is because of the die line and how close that is to that hole. If I were to make that the correct size, it would have distorted right away. So this is one of those cases where instead of doing nothing, at least go as big as you can. That way you have a pilot hole already there. So, all right, we got a plan. Let's go ahead and start welding this thing out. Got my finished piece welded out. Got my PEM nuts all in. I've got 2 rubber grommets placed on the trans tunnel and nuts on the bottom side. So now, when I bolted this to the back side of the firewall, it kind of sucked in. So I think I might need a spacer on the back side, but I can at least determine the right angle. And I've got this little angle finder set to do that. And it's 60 degrees. Is what would be the best fit up. So I think what I'm going to do now is take it to the bench and weld this to that at a 60-degree angle. Now, using a few 1-2-3 blocks and some machinist jacks, I was able to secure this thing enough to get it tacked up at 60. I welded half of it and chucked it in the car, made sure everything was good. And now I'm just going to finish welding it out and then clean up this whole plate, and I think we're like done. Fast forward just a little bit here. Sometimes I just have these little gaps where I do too much because I'm trying to record for Instagram as well. So if you want to see it in real time, Instagram's where it's at. But I've got the whole bracket welded up and everything fitted on. So I've got my CAN hub that'll go to my digital dash. It'll go to my rotary switch. It goes to a bunch of different things, GPS included. GPS mount looks good. Everything fit up really nicely, and it should be protected from vibration and everything really well. There really isn't much extra room up here at all to spare. So I also don't have a massive amount of extra wire. So I'll just tuck this up in here somehow. I've got an aux harness with a few things on it that I'll actually use. Unused aux here. This is all wiring specialty stuff that I need to dig more into to figure out. But for the most part, everything has been bench tested and works. So it's up to me to get everything power-wise set up to my rad locks, this one to the starter, this one to the alternator, and this one to the fan, and run everything back to my battery isolator, which is down here. So I'll run all my power cables on the floor, and that really will be everything needed to get this thing fired up. Aside from a couple of sensors, I've got to do intake air temp sensor, weld on a blow-off valve, run some vacuum lines. But this is a big win. Now I can actually start working on all the main power stuff to the PMU and, you know, wiring in my inputs. So I think from here on out, I'm going to try and get all the big cable stuff done so that I can put my dash back in, and then I can wire up all the accessories, the Toucan keyboards, GPS, everything to that. Now, speaking of the dash, this is what work I have left before I can put the dash in, and that is figuring out how to mount this retro spec carbon dash panel and making all the modifications necessary before that happens. So number one is getting the ECUMaster CAN keyboard, all these two holes cut out so I can mount that, and then quick latch. That's what this fitting is here. So this latch, they're pretty sweet if you haven't seen them. It's just got a little ball on the end of it, and you can you know, fix that to a panel, and it just pops in and out super easy. So I'll use two here, the one here, and putting it down here is kind of a requirement based off of actual sheet metal in the dash that I can bolt to. The dash is just completely broken up, so that'll be interesting to figure out. But then I also have this guy. So as you can tell, it's a bit warped, and dimensionally it's pretty off. This is Multi-Jet Fusion PA12. Cost me like 40 bucks. It's really nice quality aside from those two things, and so I've got a replacement coming. Xometry refunded me. But the left side here, this is for my kill switch, so that'll just go in that hole, and then I have my ECUmaster rotary switch to adjust the tune on this one. So pretty cool little setup. And then I've got, of course, my ECU, USB to CAN, and then two 5-volt for just charging devices. And then I got this guy that'll go in the back, so it can hold your phone and everything. I just did carbon fiber PLA for that, because that's basically what my little printer can handle. And I'll look to upgrade that in ASA or something in the future. But it's good enough for fit up. So that's the next plan, is get this thing done and get this dash back in the car. All right, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys are enjoying the recent progress on this thing and the recent flow of videos. I've been trying to push things out and been trying to get this car done as soon as possible. I really want to have this done by this season. I'm tired of driving the G and wishing that I was in something else, but we're gonna do what we can to make it happen, and I appreciate you guys following along.